Our next guest will be joining us this week here in Atlanta. She has a powerful testimony of turning to God for help to pull her from the depths of the transgender movement. Joining me now is KathyGrace Duncan, Director of Gender Advocacy at Changed Movement. KathyGrace, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you so much.
You know, KathyGrace, this issue has become such a prevalent issue, and we're seeing, record numbers of young people being kind of really sucked into this vortex of gender confusion. But the issue here that we have now is that they're taking steps that are radically altering their own bodies, that they can't undo it. And I'm looking forward to having you here later this week. Give us, because you know all about this, give us a preview of what you plan to address while you're here.
Sure. So I'll be on a panel called Loving People Affected by Transgender Ideology from Beginning to End. And I'll actually be giving my testimony about living as a man for 11 years and then the Lord pulling me out of that. And the things I learned as far as what lied beneath, what was it that took me into the lifestyle? Obviously, God brought me out, but in that bringing out and the healing process, what it was that I learned about the lies that I believed, about the deception that I took in, hook, line, and sinker. I learned about who I really was and how God really created me intentionally on purpose for a purpose. So I'll be talking about that on this panel while I'm there.
So, KathyGrace, are there ways that parents and others who, see the intensity of this battle surrounding our children, trying to really kind of draw them into this, are there steps that parents can take to protect and fortify their children and keep them safe from this agenda?
Yes, absolutely. One of them is really important, and that's looking at where on the social media platforms, where are your children growing? Are they on Tumblr? Are they on Reddit? Are they on TikTok, Facebook? There's groups on there that promote the ideology. And so it's looking at where they're going and then, prohibiting them from going there. And it's also talking to them because really the whole transgender movement is really not about sex. It's not a sexual issue. I know it's treated as that, but it's really, it's a relational issue. And there's brokenness that's underneath, and there's lies they believed about who they are. And it's helping them to understand that and finding the appropriate mental health help for that.
Yeah, that's so important. In fact, that's going to be a focus of ours this week, and we've been in preparation for that, knowing that there will be some, whether they're watching online or whether they're here, that are struggling with this, and we're going to have people praying. We believe, God, just as He delivered you and brought you out and have given you a tremendous ministry now, that is the God that we serve, a gracious, forgiving, loving God who says all things are new in Christ Jesus. Right. I want to ask you this, KathyGrace. We're just having this conversation, but there are some who don't want us to have this conversation. They don't want what's going to happen here this week with those that have come out of this movement to speak to the pitfalls of it, the tragedy of it, the pain of it, and how it can be avoided. They don't want that to take place. Why?
Well, because it exposes stuff, and then it also exposes the harm that's done to these kids, and it exposes the long-lasting results or side effects, long-lasting harm that it can do. And it shows the ideology, the falseness of it, and that, we need to be pulling these kids out. And I think there will be a lot of counselors that are doing the gender affirming therapy that will be put out of business, where they should be, gender affirming as far as who they are biologically and figuring out why do they believe they need to be the opposite sex. I think we'll see an industry come down.
Final question for you, KathyGrace, and looking forward to having you here at the summit. But this is a ministry in part that you do, focusing on helping young people. How are young people responding to this message?
Well, it depends. If the Lord has got a hold of them, then they are more than willing to come out of that lifestyle to look at what are those underlying issues that I'm dealing with? What is the pain that's driving that? And then there's the other side that hates us and calls us bigots. And, we have this transphobic idea about them. So you have the people who love you, who want to come out and deal with everything. And then you have those that hate you, and they hate you with this, it's almost rage that they hate you with, because, they're so sold out to the deception. They don't know that what they're doing is wrong. And we're saying, yeah, well, there's a different way, and they just can't embrace it for whatever reason.
Well, KathyGrace, we're out of time. We're up against a break. Looking forward to having you here. I find it fascinating that they would call you a bigot, a transphobia, a person that, you've come out, you've seen it, you've experienced all of this, and you're speaking not out of a position, you have nothing to gain by this. You're simply doing it to try to help others avoid what you experience. And for one, and I know I'm not alone, but we appreciate your courage and your boldness and look forward to seeing you here in Atlanta.
Thank you so much.